Have you ever felt a fear so strong it stopped you in your tracks? Maybe it's the fear of failing at something you care about, the worry of being rejected, or that quiet dread of being alone. I remember a moment when I was offered a chance to speak publicly about a project I loved. My heart raced, and all I could think was, what if I mess up? What if they don't like me? That fear almost made me say no, even though I knew it was an opportunity to grow. Have you ever let fear hold you back from something you wanted? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, believed that our fears aren't just personal. They're rooted in something bigger, the collective unconscious. This is the shared part of our psyche that connects us to all of humanity, carrying universal fears and experiences. Jung said, the collective unconscious connects us through our shared fears and dreams. In this video, we're going to explore how the collective unconscious shapes the fears we all face, and how understanding it can help you overcome them. You'll learn practical steps to face your fears head-on, turning them into stepping stones for growth. So let me ask you, what fear is holding you back right now? What's keeping you from being your truest self? Stick with me, and let's find the courage to move forward together. What is the collective unconscious? Carl Jung's insight. To understand how to overcome fear, we need to start with Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious. Imagine your mind as an ocean. The waves on the surface are your personal thoughts and experiences, your memories, your daily worries. But deep below, there's a vast shared reservoir that connects every human being. That's the collective unconscious. It's filled with universal patterns, symbols, and experiences that have been part of humanity for centuries, like the fear of failure or the longing for connection. Jung believed the collective unconscious is inherited, like a psychological DNA passed down through generations. It's why people across cultures share similar myths, dreams, and fears. For example, the fear of being abandoned or the story of a hero facing a monster appear in every culture, from ancient myths to modern movies. Jung said, the collective unconscious is the foundation of what it means to be human. It's not just a personal storage space, it's a shared space that shapes how we feel, think, and act. Your fears, especially the big ones, often come from this collective unconscious. They're not just yours, they're part of the human experience. The fear of rejection, for instance, might be tied to ancient survival instincts, when being cast out from a group meant danger. Understanding this can be incredibly freeing. It means your fears aren't a sign of weakness, but a connection to humanity. Your shadow, the hidden part of your psyche, also plays a role here, holding on to fears you've pushed away. By exploring the collective unconscious, you can see where your fears come from and how to work with them. For me, realizing that my fear of failure wasn't just personal, but part of a universal human experience helped me feel less alone. It gave me the courage to face it. So, how does the collective unconscious shape the fears in your life? Let's dive into that next. How the collective unconscious shapes your fears. The collective unconscious influences your fears in powerful ways, often without you realizing it. These fears aren't random. They're rooted in universal patterns that have been part of the human story forever. Let's look at 3 common fears and how they connect to the collective unconscious and your shadow. First, the fear of failure. Have you ever hesitated to take a risk because you were afraid of messing up? This fear is universal, tied to the collective unconscious through the archetype of the hero, who must face trials to grow. In ancient times, failing at a task like hunting could mean starvation, so this fear is wired into us. Your shadow might hold on to this fear, making you doubt yourself or avoid challenges. I felt this when I almost turned down a new project because I was scared it wouldn't be perfect. That was my shadow amplifying a collective fear of not being enough. Second, the fear of rejection. This one hits deep, whether it's fear of being turned down in love, work, or friendship. The collective unconscious ties this to our ancestors' need to belong to a tribe for survival. Being rejected meant being alone, which was dangerous. Your shadow might hide this fear, causing you to people please or avoid vulnerability. I noticed this when I avoided sharing my true opinions to fit in, only to feel disconnected. That fear was my shadow's way of protecting me from a universal human concern. Third, the fear of loneliness. Even in our connected world, many of us dread being alone. The collective unconscious carries this fear through stories of exile or isolation, like the myth of the outcast. Your shadow might push you to stay in unhealthy relationships or fill your life with distractions to avoid this feeling. I saw this in a friend who kept dating people who didn't value her, just to avoid being alone. Her shadow was guarding that collective fear of isolation. These fears show up in your dreams, your reactions, and your choices, often amplified by your shadow. But here's the good news. Because they're universal, you're not alone in them. By understanding their roots in the collective unconscious, you can start to face them with courage. So let me ask you, which fear feels strongest for you right now? What's it trying to protect you from? Let's explore how to overcome these fears. 4 steps to overcome fear through the collective unconscious. Overcoming fear isn't about making it disappear. It's about understanding it, working with it, and using it to grow. By tapping into the collective unconscious and your shadow, you can transform fear into a source of strength. Here are 4 practical steps to start. Step 1. Identify your fear's source. Start by naming the fear that's holding you back. Is it failure, rejection, loneliness, or something else? Then ask, where does this come from? Is it tied to a personal experience, or does it feel bigger, like a universal human concern? For example, when I felt afraid of public speaking, I realized it was tied to a collective fear of rejection, amplified by my shadow's worry about being judged. Try journaling. Write down your fear and any memories or feelings it brings up. This helps you see its roots in the collective unconscious. Step 2. Face your shadow's role. Your shadow often holds on to fear to protect you, but it can keep you stuck. When you feel fear, ask, what is my shadow trying to hide? For instance, my fear of failure was my shadow protecting me from criticism, but it was also stopping me from trying new things. Try this. Write a letter to your fear asking, what are you protecting me from? What do I need to learn? I did this with my fear of rejection, and it helped me see it was tied to old childhood moments of feeling left out. This step is about listening to your shadow without judgment. Step 3. Meditate on the collective connection. Since your fears are part of the collective unconscious, meditating can help you connect with their universal nature, making them feel less overwhelming. Sit quietly for 5 minutes, focus on your breath, and visualize your fear as a shared human experience. Imagine others who felt it, heroes and myths, people in your life, and see yourself as part of that story. I tried this with my fear of failure, picturing it as a universal challenge that others have overcome. It made me feel connected and less alone. Ask, how does knowing this fear is universal change how I see it? Step 4. Take one courageous action. Overcoming fear means acting despite it. Choose one small step to face your fear. If you fear failure, try something new, like signing up for a class. If it's rejection, share an honest thought with a friend. If it's loneliness, spend time alone intentionally, like reading or journaling. I faced my fear of public speaking by starting with a small group, and it built my confidence. Ask, what's one small action I can take to move through this fear? Small steps show your shadow you're stronger than it thinks. These 4 steps, identifying your fear's source, facing your shadow, meditating on the collective connection, and taking action, help you transform fear into growth. They move you toward individuation, where you live as your courageous, authentic self. So, what's one fear you're ready to face? Why facing your fears matters? Why does facing your fears matter? Because fear, when left in the shadow, holds you back from your true potential. It keeps you from taking risks, building meaningful relationships, or living a life aligned with your purpose. I saw this when I let my fear of rejection stop me from sharing my ideas. It left me feeling small and disconnected. But facing your fears, with the collective unconscious as your guide, changes everything. When you face your fears, you break free from old patterns. You stop avoiding risks and start pursuing what matters. My friend who feared loneliness used to stay in toxic relationships. When she faced that fear through journaling and meditation, she learned to enjoy her own company and attracted healthier connections. Facing your fears also builds resilience. Each small step makes you stronger, showing you that you can handle more than you thought. Understanding the collective unconscious makes this process powerful. Knowing your fears are shared by humanity, past and present, helps you feel less alone. It's like being part of a universal story, where every hero faces fear to grow. Jung said, the collective unconscious connects us through our shared fears and dreams. By facing your fears, you tap into that shared strength, moving closer to individuation, becoming your whole self. Imagine this. What would your life look like if you weren't ruled by fear? What would you do, say, or create? Facing your fears doesn't mean they disappear. It means they no longer control you. It means living with courage, authenticity, and purpose. We've explored a lot today, from Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious to practical steps for overcoming fear. Your fears aren't just personal, they're part of the human story, rooted in the collective unconscious. As Jung said, the collective unconscious is the foundation of what it means to be human. By facing your fears, you connect with that shared story and unlock the courage to live as your truest self. Here's my challenge to you. Take one small step today to face a fear. Grab a journal and write down one fear that's holding you back, maybe failure, rejection, or loneliness. Ask, what's one action I can take to move through it? Maybe it's trying something new, being honest with someone, or spending time alone intentionally. That small step could open the door to a braver life. If this video spoke to you, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share a fear you're ready to face or a step you're taking to overcome it. Your story might inspire someone else to find their courage. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button. It helps us reach more people seeking freedom from fear. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join us for more Carl Jung-inspired wisdom. Let's keep this journey going. What's one fear you're ready to face today? I believe in you, and I'm excited to see where your courage takes you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.